Hey, my name's Larry, and I am with Underthebridge Flies, and we're going to try to tie a Rouses J-dub sowbug. I was reading a bunch of reports today through the Utah, the Weber, Provo, Rock Creek, Green, and every one of those reports had this fly on it. And since I'm tying some for Utah, I figured, what the heck, might as well tie a couple of these. But I got a pet peeve here. When I looked it up on YouTube to check it out and see how this fly was tied, every video on there is music. Man, I hate that. I don't want to hear your stupid ass song while you're tying a fly, because you don't show the materials. It's hard to concentrate. Anyway, I don't like it personally. But anyway, so we made a couple modifications to this fly. We put some little bit of leggings in it, some antennas on the top, and a couple up here, which you can trim these off if you want to. But if you look at your sow bugs in the water, they all got the little antennas on the front of them, and some legs going off the back and everything. So anyway, here we go we're going to use the number 14, and this is a curved shank 1260 Daiichi hook. And once we get it in the vise, we want these things to sink a little bit. So I got some .025 lead wire, and I'm just going to wrap a little bit of this around there. And we don't want a lot, so just enough to cover the center pretty much. That's all you're trying to do. So anyway, then we are going to put in some thread, and I am using brown UTC ultra thread in a 140, and we're going to basically start this thread right behind that lead. Make sure you got your lead halfway center there, and this builds you up a little hump behind there. Then take your thread and go back behind this back side of it, and when you pull on it, start wrapping inside of the wire, and you should get rid of most of that tag in. If not, you can always clip it out. But you're going to build this up a little bit to have a nice little body on it. The next thing that we're going to look for is a piece of UTC small copper wire, and that's what we're going to put in next. And as I said, we're going to look for it because I know I had a piece here somewhere. Let's get a new one. Anyway, it's UTC small copper, and we're going to pull off about a 4-inch piece and go ahead and tie that in right onto the side of your hook here. Now I like taking it up into the middle of my lead, just for the simple fact that when you wrap it into the lead, it catches into the groove, so it holds the wire a little better. All right, the next thing we're going to use some skin, and I'm using scud skin, and I'm using a dark brown scud skin. And what you want to do, the first thing is, at the end of your scud skin, just go ahead and clip you off a little bit of an arrow. Just make you a little arrow on the end of that. and it just makes it easier to tie in. And once you get that done, just up here in the middle somewhere, just go ahead and start that. And once you get it started, go ahead and give it a stretch, and stretch that back to where you ended your wire and where your dubbing is going to start. Alright, so the next thing we are using is, I'm using sow scud dubbing, and I'm using a copper scud, pretty close to what they used on the actual fly that I seen on. So we're just going to go ahead and get this started on there, and I wrap mine kind of tight because you can always pull it back out when it's all finished and everything, but I want to make my body as smooth and as possible, so we're just going to go ahead and wrap that. And what you want to do is when you get to the center of this, you see how I'm backtracking there? Because I want the center of this fly to be a little bit bulkier than both ends. I want it to taper down on both ends. Alright, so once I get that there, get that first one in, I'm just going to go ahead and back my thread up to about 3/4 of the way. And what I'm using is Hungarian partridge. And I'm just going to take one of these wings here, and basically we're just going to clip off somewhere down the center of that thing so we can make a little V notch in there. See that V? And then we can get rid of this stuff so it ain't in your way. But then I'm just going to set that V on there, and I want to pinch it down to where it's holding in the center of that. And then we'll have some legs on both sides there. And if you have some in the middle, it don't matter because your sow scud, is going to pull over and separate that. Anyway, we can get rid of this here stem. Now we want to dub over the top of what we just did again. And I don't use a lot of dubbing when I dub on my, I make a pretty thin, short sections. That way I can control it a little bit better. I don't want no big bulky, places. And but you see how that dubbed out pretty nicely there. And then I'm going to take another small piece like this, stretch it out a little bit, get your fingers a good licking. Just make sure you wash your hands first, maybe. I'm not sure if I did or not. Whatever don't kill you, make you stronger, right? Alright, so we're going to continue to go up. And again, I'm just using little segments of the sow scud. Loose on me. And this is actually see this sow scud by Wapsi. There is 20 different colors of this, I'd say, and this stuff is amazing. If you fish the bighorn and you like using scuds on the bighorn, they got the bighorn colors, especially made for these. They got actually See if I can find it. Bighorn pink, bighorn orange. They got dead orange. I mean, rainbow. The rainbow is really nice with the, if you're going to use purple backing on it. Yeah, the rainbow looks really good. So anyway, we're just going to go ahead and dub that in and try to keep us a nice little tapered body there. Now the next thing that we are going to do is grab us another one of those feathers off of our Hungarian partridge. And I got the entire skin this time on the Hungarian partridge instead of just the little bag full, and I doubt I ever buy another bag full of it again because it's just great, 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 great. You get a lot of feathers in this thing. You get to choose your types and sizes a lot easier. A lot of different combinations of colors. It's very well worth paying you a little bit of extra for that. Anyway, so now that we got that in there, see how we got it split off there. So now we're going to take our little scouse of stretchy stuff, and we're going to pull forward. Now, here's a trick that I want to show you real quick. Let me adjust these feathers just a hair bit more. Get a little bit on both sides. All right, so when you're putting your skin over, it tends to slide on you as you want to, pull it down and get it tight. What I do is I put a little bit of Zap-A-Gap right there, just up and down that. Give it a second and pull that over to where I want it. And if you just hold on to, if you just hold on to it for a second, then she will hold on there, and then you can just take and wrap that around. Another thing this is going to do is when the fish bites, everybody knows that the sow scud moves from side to side. So this will just help keep it in place, and it'll make your fly last a little bit longer. And we're just going to double that back over and get that tied in. And go ahead and clip that little extra off. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is wrap our piece of wire here. And our little piece of wire, if you go up underneath of your first set of wings in the back, little feathers there, and just get you a nice start on that. Give her a good little tug. Get that indentation down there. Do it again. And if you wrap this loose, see how I'm wrapping it loose across there, and then once I get it to where I want it, I just give it a good tug. And you want to keep away from them feathers in the front. You want to go in and out of those, so you don't want to capture none of those. And we're just going to go ahead and bring this thing up front and go ahead and capture that piece of wire. That took longer than expected. And we're just going to go ahead and get that piece of wire out of there, or you can spin it out, however you want to do it. Okay, so we got that done. We got that done. All right. The next thing that I'm going to put in is, like I said, I like the little horns on the front. So I got me a piece of pheasant tail, and I'm just going to grab me a couple of those pheasant tail fibers. And I think I got 2 there. And what you're going to do is just clip these off in the back side, because you want the back is the actual, I think I got 3 here. Yep. So the back is the heavier portion, and it'll stay float in front a lot longer. So we are going to go ahead and tie those in, and you can make them however long you want to. I just usually give it a couple wraps there, and we're going to just separate those. That's easier said than done, by the way. Just get one on each side there. Separate them just like that. And like I said, if you want to keep that little horn on the back of it, doesn't not matter. And so we are going to go ahead and wrap it around a couple of times and throw a whip finish on this here thing. Three, and double whip finish all my flies. This helps hold them together better. Now, here's a little cool trick I learned in Now I'll show you another little cool trick. I learned this in Asia when I was studying under Wang Jing. But if you take that and you just put it on there and wipe that across, get you a nice little coat. Make sure you keep them separated. And what that's going to do, and then we're just going to put a little bit up here. Across the top of the front of that. There we go. And then we're just going to throw our light and our Zap-A-Gap and everything else. We're just going to go ahead and burn it. Oops. See that? Sorry, but I needed to pick up that Zap-A-Gap before it glued to my floor. Yeah, that's going to be nice to clean up. Anyway, we're just going to Zap-A-Gap that and see what that does. Is make those feathers, a lot stiffer. It gives them a little UV. Alright, so the very last thing to do is get your dubbing needle out. Turn your fly upside down if you want to. Here's my dubbing needle. It's a piece of Velcro. But if you got a dubbing needle, by all means use it. And just we're just gonna take some of them feathers and or them fibers there and pull them out a little bit, and anything that gets up too long there you just snip off real quick. And that, my friends, is my version of the J-dub, Rouses J-dub sowbug. Rouses J-dub sowbug. And if you're fishing the Provo, the Weber, Rock Creek, any place in Utah, and I'd say these things are going to work pretty doggone good around here too. But these would be good ones to have in your box. If you don't want to tie them or you can't tie them or whatever, just give me a holler. I'll be more than happy to tie them for you for a small fee, of course. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I thought it was a pretty cool looking bug, and I believe this is a definite fish catcher, so I hope you all try to tie some, and I hope they work out for you and catch you some nice big fish. Anyway, thanks for watching my videos. I appreciate it very much and hope to see you on the next one.